Welcome back to the Press Start Radio Show. My name is Xander. I'm joined by Andy.
Hey, how's it going? I'm
Say
here.
hi, Andy.
Hi. Look at this cool little setup.
Yeah, this is a
Pretty
great
neat.
new thing we got going on here. Andy over with the Coaches Corner is moving up in the world with his
Hey,
set that he's broadcasting from. So this is exciting times for us here.
I'm used to it being from about here up and not having like my hands in the picture. So now I'm like, I feel like I don't know if you're a Will Ferrell fan or not, but I feel like Ricky Bobby, where I don't know what to do with my hands.
Listen, yeah, I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan. All of his work is fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, here at the Press Start Radio Show, we're going to be talking entertainment, video games, all things of that nature. So,
hmm
when's the last time you saw Will Ferrell in something?
Besides the PayPal commercials, I don't know. I don't know the last. Well, I don't know the last major movie that he's been in. But I do remember one that really stood out to me was I can't remember. I wish I could remember the name of the movie. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was a more serious side movie where like a voice in his head would talk to him constantly. I think and like tell him to make certain decisions. I don't think I'm making that
I
up.
think I feel like you're talking about Stranger Than Fiction.
Maybe yeah, that could be it.
He's like there's a narrator over the
Yeah,
top of his life,
and
and
he
it's
hears it.
actually a book, and
Yeah,
he's like the main character of the book, but like
yeah,
it's from the perspective of the main character
yeah.
hearing this narration about his life. Yeah,
hmm
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Other than that, I don't know. I'm kind of interested now to know when his last like major movie was.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I'll have to find out.
we'll look it up at some point, and maybe we'll get back to the folks at home here listening.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about some video game news that's happening around the horn.
hmm
I mean, as pertinent can be, we got a new pope, folks,
hmm
and turns out he's a bit of a gamer, which
Oh,
is
really?
exciting to hear. Yeah, I mean, so he'll play like Words with Friends and Wordle and stuff, and
Game's a game.
game's a game. So love to hear that. And something interesting that I heard is that leading up to the official IRL conclave to figure out who the new pope was going to be, he watched the major motion picture Conclave,
Oh, yeah.
which is exciting.
That's cool.
So what better marketing for that film
Yeah,
than
right.
have the literal new pope, first
Yep.
American pope in history, to watch Conclave leading up to his own
Yeah.
um, elevation. I don't know. You can't call it an election. I don't know.
I don't know what the actual technical term is. This doesn't really have to do anything with him doing liking video games, but it does have to do with the new pope. I saw a funny meme on Facebook yesterday. My cousin shared, and you know how once they name the new pope, I don't know what the process is, but like the smoke comes out of the
Yeah, the
yeah,
white smoke that they
yeah.
pull out of their
So
chimney. Yeah.
it showed a picture of the white smoke, and then it showed another picture, and it's like the current pope and all the other like previous ones that are still living. They're like grilling like chicken, and
Oh wait, no, we didn't mean that. Just taking some tasty sausages.
yeah, yeah, but yeah. So it was, yeah, it was. I thought that was clever, funny, but
Yeah, sometimes the memes and jokes on the internet are not quite as clever,
yeah,
but certainly a fun one. All right, let's talk. Let's talk a little bit more focused on some video game news. Nintendo reveals how much or how many Switch 2 consoles they expect to sell during their first year, and that number comes in at around 15 million Switch 2 consoles and about 45 million games.
wow,
So yeah, big numbers coming out for the first year of Switch 2, especially because it's I don't know if they're doing calendar year, so they're getting started, in May,
hmm
and then going till just December through the holiday season, or if they're going to do the full calendar year. But 15 million, pretty solid numbers. I mean, this is coming off of the back of the original Switch, which is just shy of the greatest selling console of all time. Of course, PlayStation 2 holding that record
yeah,
because it was dropped in a time where it was about the same price as a DVD player and also played DVDs and video games. So a lot of people went for that console to kind of get the best of both worlds.
Right.
And that one still holds the throne. But Switch number one is at about 150 million globally for just the unit sales, which is, I mean, that's spectacular.
Yeah,
I think,
people are probably trying to dip in and see if they can get some kind of discount on it now, I would imagine.
oh,
And
for sure.
for
But
those,
Nintendo. You
yeah,
know Nintendo. They're
clever.
not going to lower the price on anything.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 8, like the Mario Odyssey, all the games that dropped like basically within the first year of the Switch releasing, still full price tag.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Nintendo's just one of those. They've got their IP protected. They don't need to drop the price
Yeah.
on anything. And so even with the Switch 2 coming out, I don't know if we see a reduction in price on the original Switch, especially because original Switch right now, they've got the Switch, the OLED Switch, and the Switch Lite.
Hmm.
And these are all different price tags on each of these. And you're already getting the Switch for, I think it's $300 USD. And so that's already going to be a cheaper option as opposed to the 450 base model for the Switch 2. So
Hmm.
you've kind of got your tier list and based on what you're interested in purchasing. But I think a lot of Switch, I guess, loyalists will ultimately get the Switch 2 just
Yeah.
because Nintendo is just a solid system. They're always releasing family-friendly games. Um,
Never
and,
really any issues. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just all around just works. It's kind of like Apple products; they just generally just work. Of
Yeah.
course, you got the stick drift on that style of technology, but
Yeah. I feel like
you know,
most video game companies have figured out, you know, how to avoid those bugs, like that dreaded red ring of death everybody used to get on the Xbox. Um,
yeah,
ever since then, I can't really think of anything that's been like that big of a deal with a
yeah,
console. Yeah.
totally. Well, this and more after the break. We'll be back. Welcome back to the Press Start Radio Show. My name is Andrew. This is Andy.
So,
And we were talking about the Switch versus Switch 2 overall sales. And Andy, you just brought up a good point about just overall, not necessarily software bugs, but talking a little bit about hardware failures to a
yeah.
degree. You know, you talked about the red ring of death on the Xbox 360. I know that happened to me years into using the Xbox 360, and of
Mhm.
course, there's workarounds. Physically, people on the internet always figure out some way to do it. I don't know if you're familiar with the towel trick for the Xbox 360.
I don't think
Essentially,
I don't think I ever used
what
a
it
towel
was,
trick, but yeah, tell me. I want to know what it is now.
essentially what it was you wrap the console in a towel, you cause it to overheat, and that whatever reason resets the console and you get a little bit more life out of it. Terrible for the hardware
So what you're
itself.
not supposed to do is the fix.
Exactly. Is the fix, and it'll give you a little bit more life. I think it, minorly damaged things along the way, but you would then get to use it, I don't know, for another day, week, month before it red ringed again. And then you just go ahead and, overheat it again, and it was something else. But, just like anything on the internet, it's almost akin to you just kind of word of mouth. Oh yeah, you blow into the Nintendo
Yep.
cartridges
That's what I was
to
about to
make
say.
to
Yep.
make the game work again, right? Like
Yeah.
these word of mouth sort of solutions, these band-aid fixes on trying to get something working again. It's never going to stop.
Yeah. I haven't had the only issue I have the Series X right now, and I can't really knock on wood. Um, I can't really recall the only issues I've ever really had were just like connectivity issues with the internet, and that's the internet. That's not the console. Other than that, maybe it would. I used to keep it. I mean, my Xbox has moved to different places all around the house. I've had it down in like our like living area in the basement. I currently have it in our living room. I've had it a couple other places as well. And when it was down in the living area, the basement, we had it in like a TV stand area. Like there's a little separate spot, not necessarily for the Xbox, but it fit perfectly in there. And it would get really hot because it puts out a lot of work. And even though
Yeah.
there's a fan in there, if you have it covered, not covered, but if you have it surrounded, it can overheat. So I moved it from there once I figured out it was actually doing that. Didn't think the process through. Haven't put it there since. But now I put it up on top, kids too.
Yeah.
You don't want them to grab it.
No, totally. I'm kind of just thinking about it. I turned on my PlayStation 5 for the first time in quite some time. Just play a little bit of Astro's Playroom, thinking about getting Astrobot because, I mean, what, game of the year, you gotta give that a shout. So I was just trying out the free, not version, but free like sort of style of game that Astro
Yeah.
had to offer in the playroom that comes with the system, and realizing that, oh, as I was like just trying to fiddle with some chords in the back, yeah, this doesn't have a lot of room to breathe, and this is working pretty hard right now at a pretty high temperature. So I'm certainly going to be trying to refigure what that ultimately looks like in my own entertainment console, because it is hot when I reach back behind the PlayStation. So
Well, they also sell like stands now for the consoles that have built-in fans with them, and I've
Yeah.
also seen these really cool things online where you can wall mount the system and secure it in there and put it behind the TV if there's enough room, and those have built-in fans too. So I mean, I don't know how well they work. I've never had them myself. Anything that you see that has like even those laptop like stands, those little laptop lap
yeah, with all the
things.
fans on the bottom.
They look, I mean, they look sketchy, but some of them look pretty like, oh, like that's only going to work for so long. Like, what's a little fan going to do to,
Yeah.
and
You
you
also have to
always,
wonder like how
yeah,
loud those things are too with
yeah,
your experience.
right? But yeah, I mean, and a lot of people don't, a lot of people forget because they just see it as a game console. It's a computer, just like a computer is a computer. It's a computer.
100%.
It just doesn't do, I mean, it can probably do some things that the computer do. Computer does, you can, this is on my Xbox, you can get on, you can like physically surf the web if you need to, I guess. I think
A
I can.
terribly inconvenient way to do
It
that.
is, yeah, but you can still do it. But yeah, and they just don't think that process through and like, oh, well, maybe I should not put it in a small space.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you say they, it's literally you and me.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more out there. They just don't
Oh,
want to
yeah.
admit it.
There are dozens of us. Some more news coming out about Grand Theft Auto 6. They just released a second trailer.
Oh yeah.
Looks like it is 4K and 30 FPS. A little bit of news on that is Rockstar representative told the public that it really is unlikely that it's going to be able to work on the Switch 2, and the game is just simply too big.
Too big, yeah.
And that's just your classic Grand Theft Auto. They always do these gigantic open worlds, and it takes a lot of hardware to run
It does.
such a beautiful, complex game. And Switch 2, for what it is an incredible console, but there's just some software that isn't meant to be downsized into weaker systems, right? And Switch 2 just happens to be one of those, just based on the quality of the game, the size of the game, that Grand Theft Auto 6 is looking out.
I mean, down the line, we may see something come out. Maybe it'd be with Nintendo. Who knows what it would be with, but maybe not quite as small as the Switch. Not saying the Switch is small by any means. It's a pretty sizable, console. But maybe a tiny bit bigger, still being handheld. Maybe kind of more like an iPad size. But I could definitely see that in the future, and something they would probably work towards. In that sense, to where you don't have to, be at home to play it, and
Totally. Yeah.
possibly, I mean, it's an idea. So, Nintendo, if you're listening, I don't
Yes,
know how
of
you're gonna
course.
do it, but
Yeah, we know Nintendo is they're definitely listening. But we'll talk a
definitely.
little bit more about some video games and entertainment when we come back. We'll be back soon.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Press Start Radio Show. My name is Xander. This is Andy.
Hey.
And we are talking about video games. We just got done talking a little bit about Grand Theft Auto 6, and Andy had been talking, some upgrades of handhelds. We discussed that the Switch 2 probably won't be able to run Grand Theft Auto 6. I mean, for where handheld gaming systems are, it is still shocking the quality that you can get on these handheld systems. Something that I can hold in my hands and play, like the fact that I can play Elden Ring on a Steam Deck is mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
The quality that you can get from something that you can hold in your hands is just it's doesn't make sense to me as just a normal consumer that the technology is to the point where I'm able to actually do the things that I can do on such tiny consoles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It's definitely come a long way
Yeah.
in a short amount of time too. So
In
I
a
say short,
incredibly
but
short amount of
yeah,
time. Yeah, I mean the Switch is 7 years old, but think
short for
about
what it
that.
is. Yeah,
The Switch is 7 years old. That
yeah.
means 7 years ago they put Breath of the Wild into your hands for the first time and let you explore this incredibly complex, beautiful world, gigantic open world game, and you got to do it anywhere you went.
Hmm.
That for me was a moment where I was just like, oh my god, the future is here.
Yeah, very cool. Um, yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a situation of the handheld consoles will have to catch up with the larger games like GTA because I don't think GTA would downsize a game just so you could play it.
No.
That would take away from the fun. That would take away from the point. So, yeah, I think if we see anything in the near future, it'd definitely be consoles like the Switch or maybe even something brand new from one of the video game companies that come out. So that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, just in relation to talking about this trailer that just dropped, this looks like a fun game.
It
I
looks like
mean,
a movie.
it looks like a movie. Everything. I mean, I don't think there's no gameplay in this trailer, right? But it
Right.
is still beautiful. The vibe overall is just like Miami Vice almost, just
Yeah.
running it back. Very, very excited about all the different types of missions and storylines that they have going on in this game. And honestly, I'm not really a big GTA person. I've played several of them.
Mm.
I never really dove too deeply into number five, but six might be one that I pick up just from this trailer. And if any of the further trailers kind of portray that this game is just as fun as this trailer makes it look,
Mm.
then it's kind of going to be a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, one of my favorite GTA's was Vice when they were in Vice City. That was probably one of the
Yeah,
coolest. Most memorable was probably three when it switched over to that open world style of play. But yeah, when you got to be, I think was his name Nico in Vice City? Was it? No, Nico's a character, but I
Nico
can't
might have
remember.
been
That
number
might have been three
four.
or
I can't
four.
remember.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
five was one of my favorites as well because that was the one where you could switch between three different characters,
yeah,
and that just provided even more options of what you could do. You can do certain things with certain characters. They each had special abilities. I think it's gonna be the same idea here, but it's just two characters from what I
yeah,
understand. The guy and the
yeah,
girl, and they're a couple, and this is what I gather from the trailer.
yeah, yeah.
And I saw somebody comment on. I watched one of the videos for the trailer on YouTube. Somebody commented, "Keep a franchise around long enough, and they basically turn into Fast and the Furious."
Pretty much, pretty
That's
much.
exactly. It looked like a movie trailer for Fast and the
Yeah.
Furious.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Still cool though.
Yeah,
Very cool.
so cool. Little bit of other entertainment news. Looks like Fallout Season 2 just wrapped on their filming, which
Okay.
is awesome news because I loved Season 1 of Fallout. I don't know if did you watch that, Andy?
I did not watch it every new episode, but I have seen clips from certain episodes, and it looks pretty cool. The most memorable one, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but when a certain thing happens in a certain area, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
More towards the beginning of the series. If you know Fallout, probably know what I'm talking about as well. But for those that want to see it and haven't seen it, I won't go any further. But it looked really cool. I can't remember the lead characters.
Walton Goggins.
Yes, yeah, he's great actor. I love him. Everything he does.
Fantastic. That
Yeah.
man is staying busy because he's
Hmm.
also in gosh, what's that? White Lotus. He's
Oh
in
yeah,
the most
yeah,
recent
yeah,
season of
yeah,
White
yeah.
Lotus, and he's also just finished filming the second Fallout season. So
Hmm.
like, this is he is the talk of the town right now.
And he's been around for a while.
Yeah, he
But
sure
you kind of
has.
have to like, oh, it's that guy. Like you just see him,
Yeah,
and now you know him. Yeah. So
No, I
yeah.
love the resurgence of some of these
Yeah.
actors because, like, he's been kind of quietly grinding in Hollywood,
Mhm.
and now he's really hit the limelight, and people are starting to take notice of this guy, and
Yeah.
it's great to see.
It is.
But just kind of looking at timelines, and we'll kind of use this to wrap up here. Season 1 of Fallout, and this is kind of just when you can expect season 2 to likely be dropping. If we're looking at when season 1 finished filming, was March 4th in 2023. Then the actual air date was April 10th of 2024. So 13 months between wrapping and then releasing. So if that's any indicator, if they just wrapped this week, that means we won't get to see our beautiful Fallout until likely June of 2026. So
Yeah.
a little ways down the road, folks, but keep an eye out on that. I would love to be proven wrong on what that timeline
never
looks
know.
like. Excited for it.
Yeah. Fallout Season 2 and GTA coming around the same time next year.
That's right. That's something to look forward to. Well,
Yep.
ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Press Start Radio Show. We'll catch you next week.